What has she done that was so great that it's like, oh, I remember she made this movie or this series? Like, even anything recent, I don't see her doing any justice to this series at all.
I mean, she did justice to it in The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Was that her, or was that the rest of the cast?
No, she did justice for Ahsoka in The Mandalorian.
Please.
I feel like she stood on her own 2 feet, V. I know you don't agree. I know you don't agree, but I believe that woman.
I don't agree at all. I think that you guys are just pushing fluff. Let's start with Ahsoka.
I am super excited to see the cast from the Rebels.
How about the Invincibles 2 trailer?
What is this Great Purge? Are they going to show more of that?
Loki Season 2, the one known as Victor Timely.
Okay, here we go.
What's up, everybody? So today we're going to be checking into a couple different trailers. We're going to be looking at the Loki Season 2, Invincible Season 2, and Ahsoka that are going to be coming out here pretty soon. Make sure if you guys like this video, make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment, and then check out some of our other content. Now let's get right into it.
Let's start with Ahsoka.
I was really hyped to see her in Kenobi. I have loved Ahsoka throughout the Star Wars Rebel series, throughout any of the animated series. So now to see that she's getting her own show, I'm kind of ecstatic about it. I'm really curious what Inquisitors she's going to be encountering.
I already know. I've read the series with Grand Admiral Thrawn, and Grand Admiral Thrawn is a whole problem.
Yeah, whenever he was in Rebels, he was a severe problem that they had to go against.
He was a menace.
Oh gosh, I'm so excited to see him on live action for one, and to see Sabine on live action, see her into the whole mix. Like, that's going to be incredible.
So let's get into my real juicy part about this.
Here we go.
Rosario Dawson. So, you know, as it was said before, she doesn't need to be in such a huge role, because if you want to go back and look at her casting history, what has she done that was so great that it's like, oh, I remember she made this movie or this series? Like, even anything recent, I don't see her doing any justice to this series at all.
I mean, she did justice to it in The Mandalorian.
Was that her, or was that the rest of the cast?
No, she did justice for Ahsoka in The Mandalorian.
Please.
I feel like she stood on her own 2 feet, V. I know you don't agree. I know you don't agree, but I believe that woman.
I don't agree at all. I think that you guys are just pushing fluff.
Rosario Dawson is a strong actress, in my opinion. A laundry list of stuff that she did.
Okay, name something. All right, go ahead. Say Iron Fist. I dare you.
7 pounds.
Why would I?
7 pounds.
Oh, that's
7 pounds.
I liked her in 7 pounds, and like, really, you know,
that was 2008.
It doesn't matter.
It's 2023.
It doesn't matter. My question for Vern is, how did she hurt you?
Yeah, what did she do? Did she steal your lollipop?
Every time I see her in something, I'm like, this would have been a good movie or series without her. Put anyone else in her spot, and now she's going to be the sole focus of a series. So unless they do it where they're just not really paying attention to her and they're doing other things, then...
I'm going to try to reel us back to the trailer itself. I am super excited to see most of the cast from the Rebels.
I really liked how they put the trailer together. Now, obviously, trailer versus what we're going to actually get on the screen is going to be different, but it gave this feel like it was an old school battle, like it was an old school war going on where everything was just in ruins, versus like what we've seen in more recent movies and whatnot, where it seems a little bit more modern. Like, this gave me like that old Republic feel, like, oh, okay, I can get down with this.
What about if we speak about the people who don't have the Star Wars knowledge and they're watching, like, this is my first show? Do you think that this is going to work for them?
Well, in that situation, I don't believe this should be their first show.
No, definitely not.
You shouldn't be starting with Ahsoka.
Are you talking
That's
about like all of
television.
Star Wars, or are you talking about like for the Clone Wars that arc?
All
off
of
there?
Star Wars. Some people are watching stuff new, so not everybody is a Star Wars head.
Irregardless of that, it's still all one universe. We're still learning about one universe, the Star Wars universe. At the end of the day, Star Wars name is in the front of it. So if you're watching Ahsoka or Kenobi or Mandalorian, you're going to be lost to everything that happened before that got us to this point and everything that's going on after. All of these shows happen dead in the middle of all of the movies.
In which case, for someone that's new to Star Wars, you're putting the series and their love or hate of Star Wars on the back of Rosario Dawson.
No,
So,
I would think that anybody that is watching Star Wars new is probably being told start with this. No one would say start in the middle unless we're saying start with episode 4.
oh,
Yeah,
come
it's
on.
like somebody saying, "Oh, you're starting out Star Wars. Go watch The Mandalorian."
Because you're going to meet Grogu, you're going to meet Ahsoka, you're going to hear about Anakin, you're going to hear about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you're going to be like, who are these people?
So you're gonna
Like,
tell
where did they come from?
if you want to be in on Star Wars, you need to go back and watch decades worth of movies to catch
Yes,
up.
I do.
Yes.
Yes,
Do
you
you
do.
understand what community we're talking
That's
to?
ridiculous.
Here's my thing. It's completely different than like trying to say, oh, well, if you want to know anything about Batman, you got to go back to the Golden Age. No, you don't have to, because everything's been changed over and over again. There are multiple canons of the story of Batman or any superhero. But with Star Wars, it's all one continuous story. There's no like, oh, this is a new arc. Oh, this is something completely new. This is not... No, it's all one continuous story, and there's a timeline. It's the same exact thing as watching a Marvel movie.
But you have to make it entertaining for someone who hasn't seen. And there are going to be people
if somebody
haven't
goes and
seen
watches it, they'll think that it's entertaining, and then they'll go back. They'll have to go back for it to make sense.
And that's my argument, because I don't agree with you, because I don't believe that she has the talent to carry a series.
Yo, I don't understand why Mad V is just putting so much weight on Rosario Dawson like that.
Her face
There's a whole squad. I understand that right now media has her front and center, right? But there's a whole bunch of other people.
I feel like it's New Yorkers hating on New Yorkers.
No, because I don't. Mad V hating on New Yorkers because he can't stand the woman for whatever, and she didn't do nothing
It's
except
not
take
that I
ice
can't
cream.
stand her. I feel like this series is going to be meh.
Here's my question. You saw, and I'm correcting myself here, I said Kenobi before, but the season of Mandalorian that she was in, did you
And it
think
was
that she
pretty tight.
played the role well?
I thought
did. For that little bit of
she
time.
was sufficient.
So then what's your complaint?
Well, so what's your complaint?
Because it's the Mandalorian. It wasn't Ahsoka. She just so happened to be there with people that are acting their butts off.
And she acted her butt off for 3 episodes straight.
So
Like into the majority of those episodes.
Let me just say this real quick for the perfect example of what Vern is trying to say. He's trying to say that Rosario Dawson is going to be carrying all of Ahsoka because it's called Ahsoka. But does Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, carry the Mandalorian? No, he does not. Because it's called the Mandalorian, but whenever you think about it, who do you think about it first? You think of Grogu.
How about the Invincibles 2 trailer?
Ever since season 1, whenever it finally ended, I've been waiting for 2 years for this season 2 to come out and to bring Peter Collins into it as well. That is such a huge opportunity for it to be amazing.
A little thing that I loved about the show is how every episode the intro was different. It was just more blood. I'm wondering, how are they going to top that?
Even when season 1, like the first episode, the ending, like that humongous plot twist for those people who
killed
just
everybody.
It just gets so brutal. And I'm so excited to see how much more they're going to go into it, especially with how Peter Collins' character, how he says Viltrumite versus Viltrumite. We haven't seen this since the Great Purge. What is this Great Purge? Are they going to show more of that in this season?
From all those that I've seen so far as the trailers are concerned, they are going to go back in time and talk about it just briefly. But they do hint on the Great Purge, the big war, and everything else. And he does go into talking about what his father had done and how all of that transpired. So yeah, it will touch on that a little bit.
This is one of those series that I really feel like I need to go back and read the comics.
Speaking of, I am reading the comics of it, and it's starting out is completely different than the first episode. I'm just like, oh, okay. But that final line of the trailer that J.K. Simmons says, "You should have died at birth." Is he talking to his son, or is he talking to somebody else? Because you look back at season 1, whatever, he's looking at Mark, and he hears Mark's words, and he says, "I'll still have you, Dad." He's trying to drive it into his head, and he starts crying, and he flies off. I don't see how could he say that to him now.
Did it seem to anybody else that it was like everybody's against him now, though?
I wouldn't be surprised if they were, because look at what his dad did. They might be afraid that he's going to do the same exact thing.
He's directly associated in some way. And, you know, as far as everyone else knew before that, Mark was weak. First episode, Mark couldn't do nothing.
I'm excited to see Mark's progress. Whenever he's beating up on the twins that cloned each other, and he's taking them on by himself.
I just got to give Reginald Bell Johnson, the TV dad, the original TV dad, Carl Winslow, some props, because he's been acting for a very long time, and for him to land this like voiceover role,
it's curated to him. He's playing himself, which is great.
right?
Playing himself. The school is named after him.
Give him the nerd stamp.
Yes, indeed.
And finally, everyone, Loki season 2. I am really excited for what's going to be happening in this coming season. Just that trailer alone, I was like, wow. The fact that Jonathan Majors is coming back is going to be really great to see. And I'm really curious what they're going to do with this and how they're really going to connect it to the rest of the series. Because, you know, we've talked about in previous episodes, it's hard to see what they're trying to do with the movies. But the series are just spot on.
The first season of Loki, I honestly wasn't expecting it to be that good. Knocks it out of the park. But then you go alongside Owen Wilson. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'd never imagined Owen Wilson playing a part like that. Never imagined that.
I couldn't see him being that good on a part. I mean, usually he's kind of corny and just, you know, off the wall. And I never really got into much of the stuff that he did, but he really knocked that part.
I'm going to point out something with Owen Wilson's character that I don't know if some of you guys caught, but in that trailer, I speculate that it's going to go into like his past or something, because it showed Loki standing in front of a water ski place. And if you look in the background, it does look like it is Owen Wilson's character behind them, looking like he's either selling or buying a jet ski.
I'm also a fan of Wunmi Masako. She also played in, I might have said her last name wrong, but she also played in Lovecraft Country. And I think she really did well with her role as the hunter.
She played side by side with Jonathan Majors.
Yep, she did.
Yeah, that was a great job.
It was a really great show.
I'm kind of excited to see Short Round. I'm so happy to see him get his big debut coming back as an adult.
Yeah.
He's been in the background doing all the producing and directing, but to see him coming back into major roles is really great to see.
Now, this version of Kang that we're supposed to be seeing is supposed to be the one known as Victor Timely. I don't know enough about him from the comics, but he's supposed to be one of the worst versions of Kang we've ever seen.
This show could actually fix like the whole Marvel universe. You think that it has the potential to do that?
One thing that I noticed that I love is in the mini shots in the trailer, it has the timeline going crazy and everything, and then going through a tube, and then going through one straight line. So it feels like it's going to bring everything together through this show.
There's going to be a point, either during these shows or in one of the movies, where it's like everything makes sense. Like
just the Easter eggs of him pulling out that staff and hitting that back wall.
Yeah.
See, in that, I believe, because remember in the season 1, Owen Wilson's character, remember how they lost their memory of everything that's happened?
Yeah.
To show them that Kang is actually in control of this.
I really have high hopes for Loki bringing Marvel back to where it needs to be.
All right, guys, so listen. We gave our opinions on the various things on Ahsoka, on Loki Season 2, and Invincible Season 2. Let us know in the comments below. Like, follow, subscribe, and tell your friends. Please.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal.
I mean, a lot of people knew who Pedro Pascal was. I'm sorry.
A lot of people didn't know who he was.
I'm going to have to argue that one, bro. I'm going to have to argue that one.
Well,
I mean, he might not be an A-list actor, but he's definitely an up-and-coming name, and
I think
a lot of people have heard about him.
I think what he means by whenever he was playing the Mandalorian, nobody knew that he was playing the Mandalorian. Is that what you're talking about, Brian?
True.
Well, there's that aspect, but also to the to people who are still up-and-coming actors that did not make it. they always had that one show, thing, movie, whatever they did, that all of a sudden blew them out the box. Ryan Reynolds is a great example, and now he's like an A-lister, and everybody's looking at him. I think Rosario Dawson deserves to be up there with the A-listers.
That's still a stretch. That's still a stretch because Ryan Reynolds is not an A-lister. He plays amazing as Deadpool. Amazing as Deadpool.
Right.
But in terms of the rom-coms that he's done, meh.
Now I'm going to try to
It's like Chris Evans. It's like, meh. Like, outside of Captain, meh.